today was making a pizza, and I decided, hey, while I'm making a pizza, why don't I just take some video and roll out a quick video for you guys? So here we go. The dough I'm going to make is a very simple dough. You can find simple dough recipes all over the internet. I was making this dough before the internet based on handwritten notes from my Aunt Carol, which you can see here. We start the dough with an active dry yeast and some sugar to feed the yeast. We are going to heat the water up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 1 cup of water, by the way. Once we have the water heated, we dissolve the sugar in it, and then we're going to throw the active dry yeast into it and stir that up. In about 10 minutes, we should see it foaming up, which lets us know the yeast is activated, and we should smell the yeast throughout our house. And we know it's ready. There you go. There you see the nice foamy yeast. And then it's 1 cup water to 2 cups flour. Now, when our first start here, we're going to do 1 cup flour with the 1 cup of water. Stir that a little bit, and then add in the 2nd cup of flour. And then we're going to mix that, however long we have to, 10 minutes, maybe a little longer, 12 minutes. Add a little flour during the process if it looks like it's getting too sticky. But sooner or later, once you see the dough mostly sticking to the hook there, our dough is ready. Once the dough is ready, we're going to oil up a bowl, and we're going to add a little olive oil onto the top of the dough, and we're going to let this dough rise for an hour. We're going to put a moist towel over it, protect it from drafts, and about an hour later you can see the dough rise up, and we have a risen dough ball. We're going to pat the air out of this one and refrigerate it overnight. You don't have to do this. You could do 1 or 2 rises and then just cook with it. But this one we're going to cover and let it rest in the fridge overnight. The next day has arrived, so we're going to pat down the dough ball again, and we're going to let this thing get to room temperature. It'll probably take at least 90 minutes to 2 hours. So we cover it with a moist towel, and we're going to let that get back up to room temperature. We'll also get to see rise a little bit more. We're going to make a sauce. I like to add a roasted red pepper to my pizza sauce. So here we go. We rub the pepper in olive oil. We broil it. You turn it while it's broiling until you see either blackening or sort of wrinkling of all the sides of the pepper. Then you know it's done. Once it's done, we toss it into a paper bag where we let it cool. This will loosen up the skin and make it easy to take off. Once that's done, you pull it out. You never rinse this pepper under water. You take out the seeds, you peel off the skin, and you got yourself a roasted red pepper. Next, we're going to grate up some Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese. Hold on. You're grating your own cheese, right? You're not buying that green jar of alleged Parmesan cheese at the supermarket, right? You're grating your own cheese. Good. That's what we want to hear. We grate our own cheese. So here we are, just going to grate up some cheese. And before you know it, we have a plate of grated cheese ready to go. I got a can of San Marzano tomato puree here. I'm going to use, a little more than half this can, tomato puree. Then we get the roasted pepper. This sauce is just the tomato puree. It's the roasted peppers. I put in a little garlic powder and a little salt. And we're just going to blend this up to get those peppers blended in. Note, we're not going to cook this sauce. This isn't, your grandmother's sauce that's stewing away on the stove for 75 hours. This is just going to be a fresh, uncooked sauce. You can see we got it blended up here. Looking good. Once it's blended up, I'm going to add in a little bit of dried Italian herb, and that's it. That's the sauce. A few simple ingredients. The dough is ready. We're going to put a little oil in the pan. This pan is a large pan. I'm only using half the pan, so you see we oil half the pan here. I'm going to slap out the remaining any air that's popped up in the dough, and then fit it into the pan. This pizza crust is going to take longer to cook than the topping, so we're going to preheat the oven to 475. We're going to cook the crust for a few minutes. We're going to do this 7 minutes, and then we're going to take it out and put the toppings on it. The toppings are the sauce, the grated Parmesan cheese, some ricotta cheese and some anchovy. There's no mozzarella cheese on this. No mozzarella cheese, just the other cheeses you see here. So now that we've cooked this 7 minutes, you see it's risen up a little bit. Now we're going to start with the ricotta. We put a nice generous layer of ricotta on here. After we've done that, we can then put the tomato sauce on top of that and kind of spread it out. It's going to kind of mix a little bit with ricotta, no big deal. It's all going to the same place. You can visualize how much sauce you want here. After you do the sauce, then we're going to do a nice generous layer of the Parmesan cheese. Be generous. There's no reason not to be generous. And once we've got that cheese on there, then I'm going to do half the pizza with anchovies because there's some jackasses out there who don't like anchovies. So this will be half cheese, half anchovy. And that'll go in. I'm going to cook this. This ended up about 12 minutes. You just wait for it to see a little bit of singeing on the sauce. The crust is there, crusted up. The crust underneath is cooked beautifully. The crust on the outside is cooked beautifully. And there it is. You got a nice homemade pizza.